Ooh-wee, four-star athlete Aaron Butler has named his top 5, and guess who's on that list? Yeah, you guessed it, Colorado. Let's talk about it coming up here in about 10 seconds. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. Thanks for pulling up to the YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Aaron Butler out of California, who has narrowed his list down to 5 teams. And Coach Prime squad at Colorado is on there. So before we do that, hop in the comments, let your boy know, what do you think about Colorado landing in the top 5 and top 10 for a lot of these top 100 athletes? Let me know what your thoughts on the job that Coach Prime and staff is doing. If you're new to the channel, hit that like, subscribe, and the bell notification. Coming back strong, baby. March is coming up. We're going to start seeing a lot more information from recruits. And so I would love for y'all to get this info from me and tell me what you think. You know, hop in the comments and tell me, is this what you want to see? Is this what you want to hear about? We'd love to hear from you all. And so let's dive right into Aaron Butler real quick. The 6'1" athlete, 4-star consensus. Out of Calabasas, California high school has, and he's narrowed down his list. And so let's take a look at it. This is his list that he's put out there. We'll jump into that first. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about him and look at Mr. Butler's, measurables. As I mentioned, he is listed at about, depending on what system you look at, about 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1". Nobody knows all these measurements or whatnot. But the biggest one out there has got him at 6'1", about 165, 170. He is a top-rated cornerback. He's an athlete, but he's listed at corner at a lot of these systems. Top 100 player in the country, and, of course, top 10 corner out there. Right now, it looks like at 24/7, they're believing that Georgia may win his services. But the fact that he's throwing big names out there tells me a lot. And so looking at this, as a top 100 player in the country, he has added, like I mentioned, Colorado to his list. And so this is what he was saying about the schools that he's looking at. These are his top 5 that he's narrowed down. He's got the Georgia Bulldogs, the Washington Huskies. You've got the Alabama Crimson Tide, of course, Oregon Ducks, and then the Colorado Buffs. And this is what was fascinating about it to me when he made mention of why he has Colorado up there. And this is what he said. Coach Prime, he wants dogs. I'm a dog. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, as I will be. I don't think I need to say any more than that. Hey, the fact that he pulled out the Coach Prime wants dogs, he's one of the greatest players to play the game, tells me that the advertising and the media stuff that they're doing and the hype that they're doing, that Coach Prime and staff is doing, well off media is doing, it's working. It's resonating with these kiddos. And it still fascinates me that Coach Prime is still a big deal. Deion Sanders' name is still a household name, even with him being out of the league longer than all these kids have been alive. So, because of that, yes, about lines up perfectly that these kids were born after he retired. So they're doing some work. And so, of course, he's looking at Alabama and Georgia, and that should be something that, as a Buff fan, if you're watching as a Buffs fan, or someone that's just interested in the whole Coach Prime Colorado thing, that you should be impressed with. They're finishing up there with the Georgias, with the Alabamas. They've got Oregon on here as well, which has always done a fantastic job in recruiting. Washington's newer, but looking at this, it appears that for the most part, Washington is the school that he would go there mainly to play wide receiver, but the others he's really interested in playing the cornerback position. But it's all depending on what system works best for him and where he really wants to play. But it could be a good chance that he's going to head to Georgia based upon where the crystal balls are going. But I'm not ruling out Colorado in this. He is in California, which is a lot closer to Colorado. And when he gets on campus and hangs out with Coach, and Coach talks to him, as one of the greatest corner, if not the greatest corner to play the game, it's very hard to argue with him when he talks to you about playing his position. And a lot of kids want to do that. That's why Cormani McClain ended up at Colorado. That's why Travis Hunter ended at Jackson State, now at Colorado with Coach Prime. He has a lot of interest in learning and growing underneath one of the greatest players to play the game. So kids gravitating to it, and that's a big deal. There's another player that decided that he wanted to add Coach Prime and staff to his top 12, which is, I'm going to mention him now, is Zion Raglands. Zion's out of Gray, Georgia, from Jones County High School, 5'9", 150-pound wide receiver, consensus top 100 player again, which is huge for Colorado. We haven't seen very many players like that have shown interest in the school, but if anything, this kid's fast. 10.47 in the 100 his freshman year, and my assumption is he's gotten faster since running that personal record as a freshman. And looking at his highlights, the man can zip. He be gone. He be dipping. He be running. And overall, just Coach Prime being in these top 10 and top 12 conversations are huge. When I went to go see that he is ready, I'm like, no way. And so these are the schools that's in there. And, of course, one of my schools is on there. We're going to talk about Zion more in another video for my squad. But he's got Notre Dame, Western Kentucky, which is smaller, Cincinnati. Then you got Miami, Florida State. You've got South Carolina, Penn State, Oklahoma, Georgia, Colorado, Auburn, and Tennessee. That's big. That's huge. Should tell you everything you need to know about what Colorado's doing today. They're competing with some of the big boys, and they're becoming big names, especially if he's getting these Southern boys from Georgia, getting all these players from potentially SEC schools. Some of the dogs you're going to need in order to compete. Not saying Colorado doesn't produce some really good athletes. Gavin Sawchuk is fantastic, and he's going to be a monster for Oklahoma, but the SEC steals away the best players from each state, as well as a ton of players out of the South. And if you're able to pull some of them away from those big programs, you're doing your job right. So let me know what your thoughts on Coach Prime and staff ending up in these top 10s and potentially winning Zion or Aaron Butler. If you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification. Would love for you to stick around and hang out with us. March is going to be a busy month. A ton of visits are going to go down. You're going to be hearing about offers. You're hearing about these top 10s and 12s. You're going to be hearing about these commitments happening. We're going to dive all into that as they come down the line. Also, check out our shorts. Trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. I love to get your feedback on that as well. So hop on the short. You'll see a playlist at the end of this video. So make sure you watch what YouTube says to watch, and we'll go from there. With that, chop it up in a few days. Peace.